go. So obviously, just to kind of talk about kind of some of the things that we've got going on. Obviously, we've ordered this in a very kind of step-by-step manner. We're going to do the websites now, CRM, following up, and with the idea that essentially as things roll out, you're going to kind of build just like the platforms are kind of built on top of each other. So this initial class, if you will, is going to be some review of what's coming out, what the website's going to be like, and then what kind of options you have for customization, templates, all that kind of fun stuff, and then what's going to happen eventually with the next rollout. So next week we'll do CRM, and we'll get into a little more detail, but this is going to be a little more high level and introductory to start. And again, with the idea that we're going to continue to build. So keep that in mind as we kind of walk through this. I know some people are desperate to get to the really meaty stuff, but we want to kind of build this up so that we prepare you for success and not just throw you into the deep end right out of the gate. So today we're going to go over websites and profile management. So this clicker obviously is not working. Hold on. Now my clicker will work. So the reason that, and if you're at home or in the building, you want to follow along, the reason that this is important is all the information on your website, kind of like it was previously with Lead Street and all that, it's going to be driven from your profile in Remax.net. So if you log into your Mac Center, and there's actually two spots, you can actually click on your face here, or I believe there's a profile button, and even Mac Center is screaming at us to update your profile on the top. That's because all the information there is going to drive a couple of things. It's going to drive your own website. As an agent, you're going to have a website. And it's also going to drive the information that the office shares. If someone were to go to remax.com and look you up or something like that, all that information, and then as well as on the team, it's going to be all driven from this profile. So this is the one spot where you want to go in there. We had someone yesterday who had a random initial in their name showing up on their profile and all that kind of stuff. If you have a nickname that you want to be your first name or whatever, like this is the time to do it, clean it up. Put any kind of acronym or whatever, anything you've worked for, like all these things, right? Whether it be high-end certifications, all that kind of stuff. You want to make sure it's all up to date because this was going to drive your profile entirely as far as Remax.com goes, your websites and your team sites go. So let's talk about the differences in the website. So we know that previously we had a SPA website, which I always thought was a bad acronym, so I'm glad it's going to be gone. But it was a single page agent website. What does that mean? It was literally one page that had your information on it, and all the links on that page sent you elsewhere, right? If they clicked on your social media, off you were into Instagram. If they clicked about your website, typically it would take them to a website that you paid for or something else. Like it was just a single page. And it lived, and this is the part where we get a little technical, but it lived within the Remax ecosystem, right? You had like a very strange URL that you probably couldn't even remember if someone begged you to remember, and it wasn't really all that helpful. With the new Booj websites, you're going to see that you actually have the ability to have a website. So you have the ability to create first the landing page, which we're going to talk about at the end of this, and show you kind of what that looks like and all the templates are available to you. But you're also going to be able to link out and make a deep dive. So let's say you want to create a web page that is targeted at buyers. Let's say you want to do one that's targeted at sellers. Let's say you want to do renters. Let's say you want to do a neighborhood specific web page because you're working with a builder and you want to promote that project that you're working with. Let's say you want to have your own neighborhood descriptions and blogs and all this kind of stuff. You can build that all, and it's all going to live within your own website. Whereas before, you only had a single page site that was very, very shallow and just kind of high-end picture of you, description of a couple of things, and that was it. Maybe a couple of listings and some Zillow reviews, and you're off and running, right? The cool thing about this is not just the fact that you're going to be able to build out a true website as opposed to a web page, is that it's going to fully integrate with the CRM. So what does that mean? It means that if you send your clients to your Booj website and they start floating around the internet and searching houses on your MLS search, or they start, favoriting things, all that stuff, it's going to all feed in an integrated fashion right to your CRM, which you can have on your phone or your desktop. And it's going to allow you to kind of see what kind of activity your clients or prospects are doing, and allow you to also interact with them accordingly. So you'll be able to send them text messages and emails and all this stuff as you see them doing activity on your website, on the client app. It's all going to live in one giant ecosystem, and it's all going to be tracked fully. So it's a little bit big brother, but it's also going to make you guys better agents, because you're going to have a better understanding of exactly what your clients are doing, and then how that's going to integrate with your websites. Is everyone good so far? Let me check on the folks that online, make sure that everyone can hear us. I think we're good. And then I'm getting a lot of questions about presenters. I cannot make you all the presenters because then everyone will see your screens. But if you're having any issue, I believe that you should be able to see these screens pretty well. Just let me know, but I see that in the chat. Okay, so to kind of keep moving along, and of course, because I clicked on this, now my clicker doesn't work. So let's talk about kind of the current transition that we're living through. Right now, Lead Street is still active. You're still getting leads through Lead Street. You'll continue to get leads through Lead Street until the client side of everything goes live. So basically what's happened is that all of this new tech is turned on, okay, for us as agents and as brokers, but it has not been turned on for your clients and prospects. So no one can go to the new Remax.com. No one can go to your new websites. However, you have the ability right now to go ahead and work on all of this. So when that client side gets switched on, they'll all be up and running, which is why we're being so deliberate and urgent about you all making the updates now, so that when it all does go live, you're not behind the 8 ball. So you will continue to receive leads through Lead Street. You will continue to get any referrals through Max Center and everything the way you've traditionally done until all of this goes live. And once that CRM goes live and you have the client side of it up and running, everything will transition over to the new CRM, the Booj CRM. So I think I just kind of talked about this a little bit. We are launched, but not live, right? So you have the ability to look at the CRM, look at the website editor, but the public does not have the ability to see anything that's going on. You have a month basically to kind of work and get yourself organized before everything is launched truly and live for our clients and prospects. Yeah, I mean, they haven't given us a hard date. We know it's in November, but the second we know, we will let you know. We're kind of, I know that it might not feel that way, but even though we've done weeks and weeks of training, like Sarah and I were in Denver for a full week of training with Booj and all that, we don't really, as far as launch dates go, we're all kind of in the same situation as you all. So the second we know something, we'll let you know, and we'll keep that line of communication open. But right now, we don't have a hard date, but we will definitely let you know as soon as we know. Again, we're talking about transition period. The website, the CRM, all this stuff is up and running for you guys, but the mobile CRM and the client app and everything is going to be in the phase 2. So again, as we're kind of working through this, I would imagine that at some point in the middle of November, we're going to be full go, and we want to make sure you guys are prepared for that. So that's when the new Remax.com comes out, the client mobile search app comes out, which is really cool, little gadget, all again in November 2019. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about what these websites are going to be like. They're going to be multi-page. You're going to have 5 different templates you can choose from. So one of the things that we keep kind of, I've said it until I'm blue in the face. We said it yesterday 100 times. We'll say it again today. You can go in and you can have a perfectly marketable, beautiful website without doing anything. So we're going to coach this in 2 ways. We're going to talk about the basic templates that are available to you, and then we're going to talk about how you can customize those templates if you want to add more content. But the basic templates are going to be completely new. They're going to be clean, refined. They're going to have things like your MLS. They're going to have an MLS search. They're going to have all these things that we haven't had in the past are going to be in there, and those are just going to be the basic templates. Now, if you want to go to the next level, and like I said, you want to create other web pages, you want to do a buy side, a sell side, we can get there. You can fully customize, but what I don't want people to think is, oh, I have to do all this work for this website to work for me. The websites on the basic level are going to be good to go right out of the gate. We're going to talk about the fact, obviously, I said they're totally customizable, unlinked and linked pages. So like I said, you have the ability to do a neighborhood analyzer. You have the ability to do a valuation page if it's for buy or for sellers. You have the ability to do a mortgage calculator for buyers, all these kind of things. But you'll also be able to do unlinked and linked pages. So what does that mean? It means that you'll have the control to build a web page that is not linked to from within your website. That is, we're having some audio issues. We're good. So that you'll have the ability to do unlinked pages. So let's go back to that neighborhood example. You're working with a builder, you're marketing a whole bunch of new construction, but you don't want that necessarily to be sitting on your main website. You can set up a whole web page and put it in your marketing, send links to it and all that fun stuff, and have it live separately from your actual web page, but still have ownership over it, have the ability to update it, maintain it, all that kind of stuff. You can also link that back to your main web page if you want, but there is the ability to have unlinked and linked pages, and we want to make sure that distinction. Do you have questions? Okay, cool. I want to make sure I'm asking all the folks that everything is going on correctly here. Lastly, the social integrations are very cool this time, as opposed to having just little links. You can have full feeds, so if it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, your actual feed from your social media can be shown live on your web page. So it'll be different than just saying, oh, click here to look at my LinkedIn or whatever. You can actually see kind of the activity on your social media sites. You'll be able to add Zillow reviews, and you'll also be able to add your own manual reviews, which is very cool because I know we were limited on that before. I'll show you how to do that. The widgets, like I just talked about on social media, and then even further to go down the rabbit hole of the interwebs is you're going to be able to do full Google Analytics on your website, see what the traffic is like, see where people are clicking and what's driving more kind of more discussion or integration with clients and prospects as they're looking at your website. You can see what they like and what they don't like, all available to you. And again, lastly, just kind of be very, very committed to this idea. It is all going to be fully integrated with your CRM. So again, I'll say it 500 more times in this presentation. Everything that's happening on your website from your client perspective is going to be tracked within your CRM. What they're looking at, what neighborhoods are looking in, all this stuff will be fully tracked, as well as all your communications all in one client profile. So it'll be very cool. Again, so team websites, because we're talking a little bit more about the team aspect of it today. They're going to be just like the personal websites. They're going to be fully customizable. You're going to have top 5 team-centric designs, so they'll be a little different in that they're going to allow you to focus on your team and talk about your agents and all this kind of stuff, as opposed to the single agent sites. They're going to have a team roster. We're going to talk about lead routing control. So within the team sites, you're going to be able to do all kinds of fun things as far as lead routing. You're going to be able to do lead routing according to price, to neighborhood. You can do pods. You can do Shark Tank. You can do round robin. All this kind of fun stuff. It'll all be available to you. And then you'll also be able to do social media integration as far as kind of your team, overall team social media and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, so let's talk some basics. So we're going to start setting kind of the stage. So what you're looking at from the website perspective. You're going to have a national website, Remax.com. Then you're going to have, from a hierarchical perspective, then you're going to have Remax Executive, right? The multi-office websites. Those are going to break down. You're also going to be able to do office-by-office websites, right? So that would be obviously South Park, Cornelius, et cetera, et cetera. And then we break down here, which is kind of where you all come into play. You'll be able to have team websites, single agent websites, and then a team member underneath the team. So a team member is going to actually end up with essentially 2, right? You're going to have your own website as a single agent, but then within your team site, you're going to have what I would call, it's more of that old style single page site, right? It can link to your personal site, but it can also shows all your information. So kind of an interesting distinction there. You're going to end up with 2 websites essentially. but really with one that's fully customizable, and the other one is more of like a profile type page. Okay, let me check on my folks. I think everyone's still good. And then let's start talking about this kind of all these other distinctions. So grid versus list view. When we get to the website management page, you're going to see you have the ability to see all of the gadgets. So the way the websites are built out, and it's essentially like a plug and play. So you're going to be able to grab modules, right, or little boxes, and you're going to be able to switch them around on your website. So let's say the top half of your website is kind of your profile, right? It talks about your bio, who you are, and all that kind of fun stuff. That is a module or a box. And then you're going to have maybe your MLS listings that come next, and then you're going to have your social media, and then you might have a video, and then you might have, I don't know, a contact me box or call to action box. Every one of those boxes that I just named are interchangeable. So if you think of it like Lego blocks, you'll be able to take that bottom box, move it to the top, or you'll be able to take the middle one and scoot it over. You'll be able to do all this kind of activities. When you go into your website editor, it's going to show them in either a list view, like so if you think of your Windows Explorer and you ask for the details where it gives you the file name and the size and all that stuff, it's the list view. Or if you are more of a visual person, it can show you the actual blocks in a picture view. Does that make sense? Link versus unlinked, we talked about already. So you'll be able to have pages that are linked to that front page. So let's say you have a buyer, seller. On your front page, it will have the ability on the ribbon on the top to click, oh, I'm a buyer, I'm more interested in buying. And then you can be able to go to that. But at the same time, if you had like this neighborhood page that I always use as my example, and you don't want that to be accessed by anyone who's just randomly floating around on your site, you can have that unlinked, and there's no way for them to find it without having the actual URL, if you care to do that. And if, let's say, or you have some kind of marketing thing that you're sending through email, a campaign that you're working on that has very specific landing page that you want clients or prospects to see, you'll be able to have unlinked pages that don't link back to your main page. If that makes sense. So from your main page, you wouldn't be able to link into them, but on these unlinked pages, you can have a link back to your home page if you want it. Does that make sense? Kind of a weird distinction, but it has some practical uses. And finally, parent page versus child page. So this would say your main website is your parent page, right? It's the main site that anyone if they were to come to Google you on Remax.com, there you are, there's your website. Everything below it are child pages or sub pages, right? So then let's say you had a scrolling neighborhood breakdown where you have, let's say, like Dilworth, South End, Myers Park. Those, if they were to click through to see those neighborhood descriptions, that would be a child page underneath your parent page. Okay, the only reason we're defining these kind of things is because we're going to use this terminology as we continue to bring this out. And I want you all to be able to keep up with us as we talk about it that way. Okay, so parent page is our main website. All these other pages that come off of that main website are our children's page or child pages. Again, just to give you a visual, when you come into the website editor, you'll be able to see this. So this is the list view. Like I said, you can see your home page. You can see that child page underneath it, which is a welcome to beta, which not the best example of a child page, but it's there. And you can see that there are other unlinked pages. So let's say you set up a couple of different unlinked pages. You can see them all laid out in a list view. If we went to the grid view, it would be little boxes here that would show you each one of them, and it would show you how they're linked back up to that main page.
Why would you do an unlinked page? What would you use it for?
Like I said, the best example I can give you, let's say you're doing a very specific campaign to like a very specific type of prospect or something like that, and you set up a whole web page just for that type of prospect. You could do that, and it could be a living, breathing web page, but one that wouldn't be accessed from your main website, right? It would be totally different. It could link back to your main website if you wanted that. If you wanted to say visit my website in case that wasn't the right thing, they could go back. But from your main website, there wouldn't be a link to that page. Does that make sense? So they wouldn't be able to navigate to it without being specifically navigated to by you, either through an email campaign or something like that. Let me check online. Any questions so far? Oh, I think we're good. I hope the audio is coming through. I haven't had any complaints, so I think we're okay. Okay, so we're going to get into the CMS content management system, right, is what they call it. a fancy name for your website editor, essentially. I've talked to you about content blocks, right? About how these modules can be interchangeable and moved around. And then draft versus publish. So the reason that this is kind of an important point to make is that you're going to be able to create these modules or these content blocks. And unless you ask for them to be published onto the website, they can actually sit in draft form. So let's say you're working through putting together a really cool visual slideshow of your past listings or your previous homes that you've sold or something like that, but you haven't completed it. You don't feel the pressure to say, okay, I've got to get this done now, because if I leave, it's going to be half completed. It's going to be showing on my website. And so you click published. It can sit there in draft form in your CMS editor and not be live to the public until you click published. Does that make sense? Okay, so now we're getting into a little more nitty gritty. Again, the CMS editor, or the content management system, is going to allow you to select your template. So your template is kind of your overall like color palette and shape of your site. There's 5 options, only 3 of them are live currently, and we'll get into how you can see those and take a look at all of those. You'll be able to add and change site content and blocks and all that kind of stuff. You can build and manage actual pages, which include content, right? And then you'll be able to control the site navigation, so how people can click and what they can go see, whether it be your children pages, your buyer page, seller page, all that kind of stuff. You'll be able to all control that from your content management system, your CMS. Okay. Lastly, we're going to talk about how you can manually add reviews. I'll show you guys how to do that on the tail end. But there'll be Zillow integration, and then there's also going to be manual integration where you'll be able to type in reviews as well. And you'll have to have obviously their first name and last name and the testimonial, and you'll be able to add the rating and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's all available to you all. Again, we talked about this briefly. Just make sure I'm on time. There's going to be Google AdWords and Analytics. RE/MAX is paid a fair share of money to make sure that we are driving our Google searching and our SEO and everything like that. But what we want you all to focus on, RE/MAX is doing that at the national level. You all as agents and as teams want to focus on being hyper local, right? So at the national level, RE/MAX is paying X dollars to make sure that RE/MAX comes up as a general search, right? If I look up RE/MAX.com or I look up houses in Mecklenburg County or something like that, RE/MAX is going to be paying pretty heavily to do that. But as agents, what you guys want to do is you want to be hyper local. So you want to make sure your content is focused on the neighborhoods that you're working. Focus on what you know, what you can add, because the way that Google works these days is as a single agent, your value, your kind of what you're adding to the internet ecosystem is your knowledge in a local area. So if someone Googles homes in Eastover, that's a very specific search, and you want to be coming up on that search as opposed to, say, homes in Mecklenburg County. Very general. A lot of times what they're finding is that when people are searching, they've really already narrowed themselves down to some fairly specific areas. And so you want to make sure that you're catering to those specific searches as opposed to catering to very vague, large searches. When you're competing with a whole slew of national type websites like Zillows of the world and everything like that, where they don't have the capacity to be hyper local. It's just not something that they can do. So you really want to be more local specific as you're kind of building out your website. This will help you show, like we said, a little more on the search results. Okay, so again, this is some pretty detailed stuff as far as the technology goes, but previously the RE/MAX sites had, like I said, very convoluted. I think you've all seen it. It would be like remax.com/ and it'd be like 19 different letters and numbers, and that would be your website. Now the way that they're going to work with these domains is going to be your actual office name or your agent name, and RE/MAX and everything. So you can kind of see the way they lay them out. I wouldn't get my head too twisted trying to figure all this out, but now you're going to end up having as an agent like John Smith at remax.com, very clean, very easy to link to, as opposed to what we had previously, which was a highly complex layout of numbers and letters and everything. So this is your website as opposed to having a web page on a larger website. Does that make sense? Where before it was remax.com/XYZ, now it's going to be, aldalpino.remax.com. That's my website, as opposed to living underneath a Remax subsite. Okay? That's really the takeaway of this weird, scary slide, so we'll keep going there. You jumped right into the slide perfectly. So that's a great question. You will have the ability, obviously, to continue to forward your domain. If you let's say I went out and bought aldalpinorealtor.com, you can still forward to the new Remax website. So that if I type that in, I end up at my Remax site. The only thing that they're being very upfront about is they want to make sure that you're falling within the brand guidelines for what a website could be. Those guidelines, I'm sure, are very lenient and kind of vague, but for whatever reason, what they don't want is they don't want people forwarding some kind of weird URL that they bought and sending that to the Remax site. But I would imagine all of you all that have the aldalpinorealtor.coms are more than fine within the guidelines. I think this is more so that people don't get too creative, because people get into trouble when they get too creative. So again, you'll be able to forward all your custom domains to the website. That's not an issue. That will continue to be a feature with the new Booj websites. Since we're talking about teams specifically, I did want to detail, and we're going to get a lot further into this with the CRM next week, but within the website, you're going to be able to do a lot of fun stuff with lead routing, okay, from a team perspective. So the office, if you think of it as office team, they'll have control over it. I think for executive, it's going to be obviously round robin. But teams have the ability to do a lot of different type of routing. They can do it based on response times. They can do it based on values of the home, certain markets. They can also do it by different hours. They can do it by agent specialties, right? If I have some buyer's agents, all buyer's leads are going to go to those agents, et cetera, et cetera. Again, the lead distribution rules in the future, right, which is we're in the future. Welcome to the future. You're going to have, like, if they have a principal agent or that they've already specified, that lead is going to go to that agent to begin with, right? So that means if you are their specific agent that they've already identified you as their agent, that lead goes to you. So any activity they do is going to go directly to you. Then we get into if leads are given to an assigned agent, they were assigned it, whatever. Listing agents, if the agent works out of this office, then leads distributed based on office lead pods. So those pods are what we were talking about. If you have a very specific group of agents that do different things for the bigger teams, then you can set them up by pods as well. Does that make sense? Everyone good so far? This is pretty straightforward stuff. Core concepts, how leads are offered out to agents, team, and office admin. So the lead pod is a lead queue, right? So again, you can set up a little pockets of leads. So if I have all my buyer's agents in one pod, then that could be a little round robin. It could be its own separate queue of leads. And if I have agents that are all my listing agents or whatever, then I can do a separate pod. If I have agents that work a very specific price point, I can put all of them in a pod, and they're going to get round robin or whatever. You have a million different ways you can do this. It's going to be pretty neat. Again, times of the day, days of the week, et cetera, et cetera. You can even get into even more customized stuff, so you can really play with this. You can do zip code, property type. I mean, you name it, and you're going to have the ability to filter leads to your team every which way you could possibly conceive, any which strategy that you have, right? Even the source of where it's coming from, specific website, specific routing. It's pretty amazing everything you can do. And that's going to be driven, again, by the website, not the CRM, so it's something to think about as we go through, and those team websites do come up live, so you can actually make the edits. You're going to be able to change how the leads are distributed to your team members. So that's why it's important when those go live for you all to get in there as whether it be the team manager or whatever you want to call that person who's going to be making those edits, or the team lead, is to go in and make sure all your team members are there, and then figure out how you want to do lead distribution through there, so that everything's kind of ready to go when everything goes live. I do think we're going to see an increased, and this is my own plug, but I do think we're going to see an increased, there's going to be more lead distribution than there was in the past. They're going to be removing things like, you used to be able to put 828226, right? If you came in through our onboarding, I think we all remember this. At least you were able to put your hat into zip codes like 10 times. Now it's going to be true round robin, even at the remax.com level, so that X agent has the same amount of opportunity as A agent. There's no more, I have 10 hats in a certain zip code, so I represent 10 opportunities in that zip code. Everyone has the same opportunity in any zip code that is specified. Does that make sense? So I think because of that, we're going to see some folks who are getting a ton of leads are probably going to see their leads drop just a little bit, and then the folks who are not getting any leads because they had even distribution across a bunch of zip codes are going to see more leads. I think you're going to see that. I also think with the new remax.com and the whole change there, that we're going to see more organic leads coming out of remax.com than in the past, because they are rebuilding that whole entire website. It's going to be completely new. It's been built to compete with the Zillows and such of the world, so it's going to be a very nice website with a lot more features than what it's had in the past. Again, I think the two core concepts, I think we all know them. You can do just random round robin, right? So if you have a queue, and you have 5 agents, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just goes round robin, round robin, round robin. You can also be able to do Shark Tank, so you could actually just say, okay, for this set of 5 buyers agents, the first one to click on the lead gets the lead, right? Whoever is hungrier is going to get that lead. And then you're going to be able to do this manual assignment is a reference back to all that pod conversation we had. So as a team lead, you're going to be able to say, oh, I have a certain pod here. This is for this zip code. Then I have these people who only work certain price levels, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to be able to do that. That's more of the manual custom method. Again, there's a million slides on this, but I think we all know how this works, what a round robin distribution looks like, but there it is in a visual form for you all. Shark Tank, obviously, first come, first serve. And then manual distribution, like we said, that you're going to be able to do, you can literally give a lead to an agent if you wanted to as a team lead, or you could do it by pods and do a round robin within those pods, or Shark Tank within those pods, but you'll be able to define how that all works as a team lead. Finally, we're getting now, I think I'm timing this out just about perfectly, we're getting into some of the more administrative stuff. I know that Sarah and I are obviously available to you. We've both completed a week-long training. I know Jason as well did it, and there's a few other bigs and such that were also went to the week-long training in Denver. But if you need any answers or any questions or whatever, you're having a headache because something didn't work the right way and you just lost your mind, you always have the ability to reach out to us. At the same time, we're going to give you all the information to reach product support. They've actually changed over their system to Salesforce, and in doing so, I know they're supremely overwhelmed with this rollout, but they are more responsive now than they have been in the past, in my experience, in the last 3 or 4 years. So it's a pretty cool system that they're running now. You can actually see where you are in the queue and all that kind of fun stuff. But you can send a note to product support at remax.net. You can call, or you can go into Max Center itself and go into support services, and you can have like a chat with somebody, all that fun stuff. If you have any feedback, let's say you're going through this and you're like, you know what, in the practical world, this doesn't make any sense. Remember, Booj is a technology firm that caters to real estate companies, but the reality of it, most of them are programmers and not agents, real estate agents, or have even had that experience. And so it's helpful to them if you do see something that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever for you to point it out. You send out a note to product support, you never know, your note could end up being the change to Booj, and it's going to make a better experience for all of us. So don't be afraid to submit ideas or changes that you think are practical in nature, and see if those kind of make their way through the Booj filters. The websites and all this technology and all these platforms are going to be in a constant state of improvement. The way that they've gone about this whole entire process is that it's never going to have like this is version 2.0 and then they're going to wait 6 months and then they're going to give you version 2.1. It's going to be in a constant state of flux of improvement. So changes will be happening at all times, and that's a perpetual plan. So this site, all these platforms, everything are always going to be in updates and updates and updates. So your submissions and your feedback are going to be heard and are going to make their way through to the actual platform. I'm going to take a second here to get a sip of water, check on my internet people before I lose my voice. Okay, so the other spot that you can find some information, obviously, I guess it's not obvious because sometimes I present this to longtime agents and they don't have a clue that's even there, but in your Mac Center, there's Remax University. In the bottom left corner is now they've added a little Booj link here, and you can find all kinds of fun, very fun videos about how to make changes to your CRM, the websites, how to update contacts, just overviews if that's what you want to do. It's going to talk about lead parsing. I mean, all kinds of stuff if you have the time. These videos are actually all relatively short when you think about kind of the amount of time and what you can gather from them. We're talking about 3, 4, 5 minute videos that are going to kind of give you a good overview of certain little features and things like that. So if you have some questions, it's a good spot to reach out to. Like I said, support services, if Sarah and I aren't available, or if you have some kind of product feedback, that's a good spot for that. And then if you're just looking for more information, the university is going to have a bunch of videos, and they're going to continue to update that very, very specifically for all this Booj rollout because they know that you guys are hungry for content. Okay, so we've gone through kind of the overview of the presentation as far as the websites and everything like that. Now we're going to jump into a little more manual hands-on. So for folks at home or streaming from our offices, kind of bear with us a little bit, but what we're going to do is we're going to jump in, we're going to go into remax.net itself. I'm going to show you where to update your profiles so that all that information makes its way to your websites and to your team sites and all that fun stuff. And then we're going to also do kind of a high-end, we're going to jump into the CMS, into the website editor, so you guys can see what it's like to add a little module, to add a web page, and how you can toggle those things on and off, what different types of little modules are that are available. And then probably after about 15, 20 minutes of that, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and we're going to do some hands-on here. And obviously, if you have any questions at home or in your office or anything like that, you know where to reach myself or Sarah. And we're happy to do, whether it's a little online demo with you or something like that, or just get on the phone with you, whatever we need to do to help you all out. Our support doesn't end when the stream ends, so give us a shout. Don't feel like you're asking or irritating us with questions. That's literally what we're here for, is to help you all out. So we're going to jump into these websites now a little bit, and I'm going to do this as best I can for those streaming. There we go. So obviously, for all of those who may not even know how to get here, remax.net is a new URL. You can still use the old Mac Center with no vowels game, but this is probably the easiest way to do it, remax.net. Obviously, log in. So yeah, I can't type with everybody watching. You log in, and as we've said in the past, Booj is almost yelling at you to please update your profiles. So there's two spots. Obviously, you can click Update Profile here. You can come here and click on your face, for lack of a better or more elegant way of describing that. But I tend to, if this is gone, you don't have the ability to click on this beautiful little ribbon. You can just go, like I said, to your face, click on it, and it's going to bring you to your profile. Again, mine is going to be a little odd because I am a super user, so I have all these different offices, but yours should be a little more simplistic. Referrals are living here at the moment, so I know a lot of people keep asking. I keep getting an email randomly, like once a week, being like, I got a referral and I can't find it. So if you click on your face, you come here on the left side, you'll see the referrals are here available to you. But for our purposes right now, you can click here on Update Account. It's going to take you to this fun little profile editor. And again, excuse my complicated life. You can come here to General Info, and you can edit anything here. So in my case, if I wanted to, the D in my last name is actually lowercase. I can save that. And on the website, later on when we go into our CMS editor, you'll see that my name is properly written. You can change anything here. You can change your join date. You can change your contact info. You can add your own personal URL if you need to, phone numbers, fax numbers if you still rocking that. I don't know, maybe you guys have a car fax I don't know about. You can change your picture, and then you can also add a lot of background. I don't obviously have a biography or anything like that set, as I'm not as cool as the rest of you and not an active working agent. But you can come in here and add all this information so that if someone were to find you on Remax.com or on your team sites or on your website, they would know more about you. Again, this is the Mac Center profile. Just to repeat how we got there, if we're in Mac Center proper, and we have this fun ribbon, we can come here, but if not, you can come over here, click on your face here, and on the right side, click on Update Account. Good? Is everyone good with that so far? I'm watching you guys online, so if you have any questions, just let me know. So we're going to go back. Obviously, if you need to go back to your Mac Center, you can just click on the little Mac Center icon, and it's going to bring you back to this main page. As you can tell, they've started making some updates even here where you used to have little hearts and all that kind of stuff. Now you can actually highlight your favorites, and then there's actually information if you can't remember what this is. They're actually telling you what each little section contains, so pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to jump in here. We're going to go to the Booj platform. Some of you have Booj beta showing and Booj regular. We're going to regular old Booj, so that we're kind of out of the beta stage, so don't click in that way. But if you click in on Booj, it's going to bring you over here to your main, and you're going to get a note, like there's been another product update. But it's going to bring you here to your main dashboard. I think I accidentally clicked on that. I got to zoom out. Yeah, you might have already seen it. So this is what your main dashboard looks like for those folks at home. Obviously, when everything's up and running, this will make a lot more sense. You'll be able to have calendars. We'll talk about this in the CRM. You'll be able to integrate your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar. You'll be able to integrate your Gmail, your Apple Mail. All that stuff is going to be able to be integrated. You'll be able to come in here and see everything. Pretty neat. But we're going to focus today not on the contacts and leads. That's next week. I keep teasing you guys. It's up for next week, so hopefully we get more attendance because this is going to be up and running soon. You'll be able to do marketing campaigns, and then deals here is where you'll be able to actually monitor any transaction or deal you're working on. You can actually have a workflow in there and see where you are in that workflow. And again, that will integrate with your calendars and all that fun stuff and give you reminders. Pretty neat. But for now, we're going to come here. We're going to go to the website, and we're going to go to customize site. Were you able to get on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So right out of the gate, there's a couple of things I want to highlight to you. Websites obviously are still available, are still in development, like it says here. But you can click on this this URL, and it's going to take you to your actual website. So what I like to do is I like to click on that URL, and I know I'm about to get this question, so I'm going to show it to you here. This is the username is beta-user. And the password is capital B beta, capital T tester, 123 exclamation point. Okay, it'll actually tell you if you click on the little eye icon next to that URL that we just saw, it'll tell you this, but I like to point this out because it seems to always trip everybody up. But again, if we're here on our Booj dashboard, you click on this little URL right here, and it's going to bring you here. You use the little password, and I believe on this URL, it's going to actually, on this little I, it's going to tell you that exact information. Yeah, there's your username and password. And then you sign in, and you can actually see what your beautiful website looks like.
Oh, and what was the password?
The password was
Beta tester, capital B, capital T.
beta-user.
Tester 1, 2, 3.
Will that change later?
It will not.
So we'll always do that.
Yeah, and now when they go live with everything, they might tell you that it's going to be your Remax email and your regular password, but for now, we're going to continue to use this. We're going to pop out of there, go back to our browser. There you can see my website. Now, we've messed around and tinkered with this a little bit, so don't judge me in the order things are in, but you can see kind of a preview of this specific template. You have a call to action down here at the bottom right, or what they call a CTA module. The call to action is anytime you are asking someone visiting your site to do something, right? In this case, you're telling them download my mobile app, and you're giving them a link to Apple and the Android store. The cool thing about this is that in the past, if you had done this, they would have downloaded a generic app, and great. That, I guess that's kind of cool, but not really beneficial to you as the agent. Now, if they were to click these downloads, they're actually going to download your specific mobile app. So it'll be your mobile app. It'll be your face. It'll be branded to you. They don't have to do anything extra. And then any activity that they start to do, you'll see in your CRM, right? So pretty cool little CTA down there to have them download the mobile app if they've made it this far. And then there's also the other call to action that they have on this template is an accounts benefit. Sign up for a Remax.com account. Again, they do that. That will be specific to you, and they will be under your client list, and all the activity that they do on Remax.com, you'll see come through to your CRM or your mobile CRM as well, because there'll be a mobile version for your phone. Okay, but to scroll up, obviously, the MLS integration is not live yet. I do not have to $120 million listings and a couple of $16 million listings out in Simi Valley. You can do video. Here's your bio and everything. So this is what we're talking about that is driven through your profile, right? You can see my office. There's a contact me, which will reach out to my email. But then this is my bio and obviously the language that I speak and my beautiful face. And then you can see here that there's a search bar, very Google-esque kind of. This is where a lot of these websites are going, just an initial search bar so that your clients or prospects are automatically kind of involved and integrated with everything you've got going on without having to go so far. And you can see all your contact info and everything like that up here as well. Okay?
Will we get into that linking it to our listing? That will come later.
Yeah, so the MLS integration, when it goes live, will go to you automatically. You'll have your MLS is in your profile already, so
our listings automatically.
Yep. So as we go through this, I guess that's a great call out. As we go through this little walkthrough of the sites, there's going to be a lot of modules that say, I'm not ready yet, right? And in layman's terms, they're going to say, I'm not up and running yet, but when the sites go live, I will work. Right, so like your social media one will say, hey, I'm a placeholder, but when we go live, everything will work, like those kind of things. So right now you're kind of designing a house that has a lot of features that don't actually turn on until everything goes, but it'll let you see where they'll sit on your site so that you have that kind of in mind when it actually goes live. That's a great question. So to jump back in here, this is your CMA, I think is what we're calling this, right? Content Management System, CMS. Sorry.
You went back to where?
Okay.
So I went back to Booj,
Okay.
and we're still on website, and we're on their customized site. Okay. You can see here that some people, so I have heard that some people who are in beta don't have access to all of this. we're trying to get that worked out for you all. So if you come into your website and you come into customize site and you have like no options here, you were probably in beta and it hasn't, for whatever reason, hasn't switched over, but you should be able to see here that you have the ability to change your home page or edit your page. Okay? So if you click here on change home page, this is where you have the ability, if you click here to edit page, this is where you have the ability to come in and change these blocks, right? So if you remember my website, you have a headline, which is up here. This is the search function, my contact info. Then you have the rebrand block, which is right here, right? The Zillow reviews, these are in order, right, from top to bottom. So I think, so right now, well, in your template, there's a carousel block that's at the top, right? That'll be the first thing you see. So if you go to your site, it'll be the very first thing on the top of the site. So these are in order, okay? Again, Zillow reviews, if you come here, if you scroll down, well, I have a video and then I have Zillow reviews, but my Zillow reviews aren't coming through yet. They'll be here, and then my video, then my listings. There's a listing slideshow, and then the call to action blocks and the social media, right? So here's my call to action block, and then there will be a social media thing here that hasn't gone live yet. Okay?
I'm still not seeing those.
Yeah, because your template might be different than mine. So just bear in mind that every template is different. So if we go back to our editor, you can actually change, sorry, I'm losing my words. You can change your templates, or you can change your homepage layout. So if we're in here, for some reason my templates are gone. I wonder if, yeah, it's odd. So you'll be able to come here to your edit, change your homepage, and then change the type of template. This happened to us with Sarah's account. My account was golden, but now it's not.
You can see all the blocks.
Right. So if you come in here to change your page, you should have a couple of different layouts that you can choose. Right. There's 3 different ones. For whatever reason, my account, and this is the nature of Murphy's Law of presenting to you guys, is that today of all days, you won't be able to see me actually change my template. But what you'll be able to do is there's going to be, I think there's agent layout 2, 3, and 4 right now, or is it 1, 2, and 4? If you click on those, the whole layout of your page changes. So that's, you all probably have a different one. So I'm going to walk over here real quick. If you go to change page, you go back. Yeah, you go change home page. See it's saying, yeah, see how you have different layouts?
Yep.
If you're to click layout 2 for fun here and scroll down and hit save, and then you went to back to your site here.
Back to my website.
You can just click right there.
Click here.
Yeah, and refresh. And slow circle right here. Yep. You're gonna see the whole layout's gonna change. And it's gonna be this is a different option. See.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, search.
So again, if you click on change homepage, my account, for whatever reason, it's not allowing us to see it. You're going to see a couple of different templates that are available to you there that you can choose. And if you go back to that tab that we set up here, remember I told you guys to open up your page. If you come back to this tab and as you make those changes, you'll be able to refresh this and those changes will show up here. And you can see the different templates that are available to you. What they've told us is when it goes live, and you come here and you see the different layouts, you'll actually be able to see what that layout looks like. So instead of it being a generic, they all look the same, it'll show you what that template is going to look like so you're not blindly choosing templates. Okay? So we're going to come here, we're going to go to edit page, and I'm going to show you how you can add content blocks. So if I come here to edit page, you obviously already have stuff that's been pre-populated in that template, correct? You can come here, you can click add block. And now here you can see all the different types of blocks that are available to you. You could do a quote block, and add a quote from, some type of feedback that you received of so-and-so about how great you are with buyers or something like that, how patient you were. You can do image slideshows. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. They're all available to you here. Let's pick one that would make sense for us to do. For example, you can come in here and you can do communities, right? So this is typical for all us. This one is not available yet, but when it's full release, you'll be able to come in here, for example, and you'll be able to do, where's my pointer, so I'm not walking back and forth. You'll be able to do, like, say, in the Charlotte neighborhood, you can do Valentine, you could do Weddington, Waxhaw, et cetera, and then they can click through on these communities, and you can have community descriptions, all that fun stuff. Okay, but this content block is not available to us yet, but you can go ahead and place it onto your site. So once you click on it, and it brings you back to your main list, you can see the communities is here now.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so you can see communities is here, and you can also see that it's grayed out. Why is it grayed out? Because remember we were talking about how you can add content and not make it live yet? It's in draft mode. So until you were to click here and toggle that, I think this is green. I'm assuming as a colorblind person that green is good, right?
Yeah.
Once you click that on, then it will show on your site. So if we were to go to my website right now, and we were to refresh it, you can see that I still don't have any community information here anywhere, correct?
Right.
But if I were to come here and I were to toggle my community on, and I hit save here, communities is no longer, hopefully it'll work because it's not an active module, but hopefully it'll at least put the placeholder there. We're about to find out the hard way. And there they are.
Yeah.
Okay?
And if you just do the, if you click on it and it's on and it goes back into draft mode.
Then it does not show. Right.
Which it does not show.
Right. So, like I said, let's say you're working on getting this little module up. You don't get it completed. You say, okay, I'll finish this tomorrow. You can leave it in draft form. Click it on the next day when you're complete, and then it actually shows. So there's no risk on working on different little projects and assuming that you have to have them all done or you're going to have broken links or something on your website. Again, same thing with social media. My social media was turned off, but if I want to add my feed, I turn it on to draft. You can see that these drafts, because these modules actually aren't live yet, they're showing, I guess that's red, right? So they'll show on your site as placeholders, but they're not actually active is what that means, okay? So we come back here, we refresh this page, see what we've done. We come find the social media, our awesome social media, and there is our actual social media feed. Obviously, if it's you, it's going to be your Facebook, your Twitter, and your clients are going to be able to see kind of what you got going on with social media right there on your webpage. Okay? If we go back, by the way, there's also a web preview here if you choose to look at it that way, but we can save and edit. And we're back out here to our main page, our dashboard, if you will, in our website editor. And you can see that I've also created a buyer and seller page, right? So that's also a very simple add. Let's say I want to add a page, right? I want to do a page specific to buyers. I can come in here. I can name this template Buyers 2.0 because I already have one on mine. So you can just call yours Buyers. And look at that. I misspelled it. I can just call this my new buyer page because maybe I'm making some updates to the previous one. And I can hit save here. And now I am in the process of creating a true new site, right? So let's say I want a header image here. I click here and I choose I want to do a new header for this website. Let's say I'm really into flowers. This is who I am. Or let's say I really like this kitchen shot, right? And click insert here. And on now my header, you can see the web page is being previewed on the right here. You can see it, and then let's say this is my buyer page, so I'm like, why you should buy with me, exclamation point. I'll try to actually use proper grammar here. And then you can see the title, and then you can give it a description, my buyer's page. Obviously, you want to be much more creative than I am. You hit save, and you completed the header to your buyer-specific page, right? It's still in draft mode, there's nothing to see here. But then I can go through, okay, now that I'm doing a buyer's page, I can come here and I can add blocks, and I can do something like, I'm sure they're going to have like an MLS search, for example. You can put that in here. You can do the communities here. That probably makes a lot of sense if it's just buyers. I can add a community section. Hit save. I can come in here, like I said, I can probably, when they make it go live, you're going to be able to put in an MLS search, right? Which would make a lot of sense for a buyer, et cetera, et cetera. But I can create my own page. And I can save and exit. So I've created my page. This is just my header, my communities. Like I said, I'd probably end up having a CTA, like contact me for more info, or a MLS search so I can see kind of what areas are looking at and all that kind of fun stuff. I come back here, and now I have an unlinked page. Remember how I said you can create a page and it's not going to go live or be irritating on your website until you're ready for it? Or if it's just a specific neighborhood you're trying to market, you can create a page here, and it's going to be an unlinked page. That means that from your home page, there's no way to navigate to this page, right? Does that make sense? But now let's say I want to make it navigable. I got to remind myself how to do this. You're going to come here. You're going to go to your unlinked here at the top. And I'm going to do this one of these times. Oh, here we go. You go to all. You go to the list view. And you can take this page here. Okay. And you're going to grab it like this. And you're going to be able to put it under your navigation. And now when you're on your home page, Buyers 2.0 is now available and linked, okay, to my site. Okay? So now we're going to come back here, and you can see that Buyers 2.0 is no longer unlinked, but it now means that if I'm on my main website, I can find the Buyers 2.0 page. So if you're going to come here, what you're going to have essentially is you're going to have, well, let's see what the menu says right now, so I can show you. Right? I have my original buyers and sellers pages that I told you about, right? But let's say we refresh this. You can come here to your menu, and there's my Buyers 2.0 page that I titled very poorly. But it's there. But it's there, right? So that at a high level is how you can change and adapt your web page. Like I said, the templates, the 3 templates are available to you now, plus the 2 more that are going to be coming live. I think right out of the gate, remember I showed you this template, for example, already had everything I wanted. I could change this video. My listings are already here. It had great call to actions, whether it be my mobile app or setting up a Remax account. I added my social media and communities, but for the most part, that template had basically what I would need to have a pretty good marketable website right out of the gate without having to do much. As far as the video, I think it might be helpful for you all to see how easy it is to make an update to this page, but let's say we went to our video embed here, and I just wanted to change this video. I can come here, and you'll be able to do videos from both Vimeo and YouTube, but let's say I wanted to go to the Remax YouTube site. So I Google Remax YouTube, and I'm like, there's Remax LLC. I can go to the videos, and I can say, you know what, I'm a huge fan, let's see, let's find an ad of this home for sale ad. I think it's funny. I come over here, I click copy on the URL, right? Come back to my Booj. I paste that URL here. The video has updated. I can change the caption under it. I don't know. For the lack of creativity while I'm presenting to you, funny ad. I can hit save. And I've updated my website literally instantly. I come back to my website to see all the fun stuff that I've managed to create. And I come here, and there is my new video. That simple. You could do that with the Remax Hustle video that has been made available to you, the personal video you could use there. You could use a Remax ad. You could do a video carousel. So let's say you've done a bunch of featured videos on properties that you've sold, whether they might be a drone or whatever. You can literally have a carousel here. If we go back to the Booj editor, you can add a video block here that's a video carousel. Let's find one. Video slideshow or video carousel here.
Video embed or videos.
It's called
Video slideshow.
video carousel. Yep. So you come in here, video carousel. We can put in that video that we just liked, which was the funny ad, right?
Where'd you get that from again,
I went to YouTube and found and just stole the link, right? I could also go, well, let's find another. Let's go with this other video here. Choose the audio for a second. I could snag this URL again. Bring it back here to my carousel.
Have to do that.
Add another item. And then I call this funny video, funny ad 2. Paste in my URL, hit save. Go back to my list. You'll see that in my list now, I still have my video carousel. It's in draft form, so it won't show on my website, right? But let's say I don't want to have this video, single video here anymore. So I turn that one off, turn this one back on. Okay, hit save and edit, exit. And then I come here to my website. This one's going to disappear. Come on now, do this. Oh, I didn't disappear yet. Hold on, let's go back here real quick. I turned it off, right? Let's just delete it. That video embed. All right. Now we hit refresh. The video is gone, the single video, and I find my video carousel that I added right here. And so there's my carousel, there's my first video, there's my second video, and this could just be highlights of listings I've had in the past or whatever, or if some of you like to do the video social media, it could just be videos of you, right? It could be whatever you like. And I've added that. It took me all of, 2.5 minutes to add a pretty sophisticated looking module to my website. So I'm going to pause here. I think for those folks at home, I think this is a good stopping point. Again, to reiterate, if you need any assistance, what I tell folks is, look, you're not going to break everything. This is all in beta. Essentially, it's live. You can make changes. You're going to be able to go in and update everything. If you spend the next 2 days, 3 days messing around with this ton of time, and you reach a stopping point where you get frustrated, give us a call. Or you're like, oh, wait, how do I do this? Give us a call. Worst case scenario, your clients or your prospects are not going to see this until everything goes live in November. It's a perfect opportunity to mess with the sandbox and create all kinds of fun stuff and see where you want to land, work on different types of content, all that kind of fun stuff with no risk. So don't be afraid to go in and add a content block, mess up your web page a couple of different times, We will be here to support you 24/7. In my email signature, there's a little scheduled time with me if you want to do something more formal, or you can just give me a shout, send me an email, give me a call, whatever it is that we need to do. I know that there are going to be a lot of folks who need help. I don't expect you to walk out of here and be a developer. So feel free to give us a shout, and don't feel like you're inconveniencing us or anything like that. Everyone has questions, from the most tech savvy person to a person who still can't even open up their email. I'm sure they're all going to have questions. They're just different types of questions. Doesn't make one wrong, doesn't make one right. So please feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. I appreciate you guys watching. I think from all over the place. I see Astral. I see some new agents on here, which is cool. Thank you, Chuck, for joining. I hope you found it valuable. And then, wow, I feel very popular. Thank you, everybody. Wilmington, Waynesville. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording. And like I said, please reach out to us if you have any questions. Question is, do I know how to end this recording?